So last week, in probably the most epic smackdowns ever. I mean, I've talked about how politicians and news anchors get humiliated and owned by those who are waking up. And I talked about how Nancy Pelosi's been humiliated and owned, and how all these other jag-off bastards who've been lying to us, smacking us around, have been, farting around thinking that they own the world, when in fact, in reality, these are flawed individuals that, look, from the bottom of my little old heart, I love you, but you're not serious people. Chris Cuomo is one of the many, because after all, Chris Cuomo is part of CNN and part of that institution that likes to lie to people. I mean, I'm sorry, inform people. I mean, I'm sorry, give approved information from the state to the people about overall how, he gets owned by none other than comedian Dave Smith. And folks, I've been seeing this all weekend, all the highlights of this conversation between Dave Smith and Chris Cuomo on the PBD podcast. Folks, it was an absolute murder, destruction. Cuomo, I mean, my goodness, it's like that scene from The Simpsons where Homer was Krusty the Clown. He crashes into the burgers and he confuses that version of the Hamburglar as being a real thief, and he starts beating the crap out of him. And the kid is screaming, "Stop it! Stop it! He's already dead! Jesus Christ, Dave Smith, stop it, man!" I mean, you didn't have to go all in. You could have just used 1% of your power. It was just too much. It was glorious to watch. And a part of me felt sorry for Chris Cuomo, but then I realized that he's a jagoff person who's part of CNN, or was part of CNN, who was one of the many people giving us all this misinformation and crap, especially during the pandemic and during that election cycle, and so much more. Look, folks, when it comes down to corporate media, I have no respect for that institution. That goes for CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox News, all of them, because they're all the same. The same people own the Democratic Party and Republican Party also own corporate media. So we got a couple of highlights from this conversation. And I think it's important for us to get started with this first video here. Listen. Everything about this segment is going to be pure gold. And for this special Sunday episode, I hope it puts a smile to your face, because finally you're seeing somebody from corporate media getting regulated and corrected. Dave Smith, we invite you to be on our show, because my goodness, in theory, this is a crime, a verbal crime of the highest order, and you kicked his ass, as you should, Dave Smith.
It was kind of amazing to watch you admit so many of the things that you admitted on the podcast with Pat, but at the same time, you laughed off the idea of an apology. Yeah. Your first thing you said was apology. No way. There's no way. And then you proceeded to go on to confirm what all of us had known for so long, but you, sir, were smearing people like us for having this view. You were, at the time when the COVID insanity struck, you were the #1 show at CNN, a time when the nation was going through a major crisis and totalitarianism swept throughout all 50 states. Actually, -1, I think South Dakota never had lockdowns. 49 out of the 50 states went totalitarian.
They didn't have lockdowns, but they did have a dog get killed at 13 months. I think that's what happened in South Dakota. So we got to get the facts. We'll keep
it was
going.
something, I think Kim Jong-un was involved. Right. I'm not sure about the details.
Right.
But during this moment, we really needed people, especially people who had a big platform. You were the #1 show at CNN, which is huge, almost as big as this show. And
that was a slight right there. Hey, you know that CNN doesn't get those numbers.
And it seems to me that you, rather than doing what your job should have been at the time, which was to be skeptical of power and to shine a light against the propaganda, it seems like you ate up every single piece of propaganda, repeated all of it without any thought to whether it was true or not, and then smeared millions of Americans like myself who were opposed to this stuff. So that's where my beef is.
Chris, I understand your beef. Why would I not apologize? An apology is when you say something that you shouldn't have said, that was wrong to say, that you said for bad reason, or you're trying to hurt. None of those apply. I hear your understanding of the pandemic. I don't agree. I lived it closer than you in many ways, closer than any of you probably in many ways.
No, we all lived the same way. The only difference there, Cuomo, and we're going to pause it right here, is that you had the luxury, you and your fantastic friends at CNN and everybody else in corporate media and the political establishment had the luxury of sitting in your ivory towers, looking down at us while the rest of us were struggling to make ends meet, not knowing how we would survive the next day. I think we all remember the pandemic, the lockdowns. Hell, Hardlens Media, I know that we got hit with the censorship and the shadow ban too. 2020 was a devastating gut check to this channel. And even afterwards, there was still the fallout from it all. Oh, you couldn't say this and you couldn't say that. Do we all remember that? Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat real quick. Type 1 for Kit. We had to make sacrifices to survive. It was a different time. But they knew what they were doing. Why don't you just shut up? Type 2. Yeah, I remember the pandemic. I remember that. And we're still dealing with the aftermath of it all. Madness and insanity. I wonder how many twos will get in the chat. I wonder. But hold on. There's a little bit more because an apology is an important thing. And Cuomo, all the corporate media and the two-party system owe the American people an apology and, dare I say it, a financial bailout.
Take ivermectin. Ivermectin is the way to go. Take it. Joe Rogan got better from ivermectin. And by the way, I don't like what people did to Joe Rogan about ivermectin. I don't like it.
You did it.
No. Okay,
yes, you did.
Find the clips.
Dude, find the clips. You shamed Joe Rogan.
Find the
you
clips.
said he's taking horse dewormer. You and Don Lemon were chuckling at each other about it.
No,
I'll go find
first
the
of all,
clips.
you just saw the clips.
I'm
I'm not chuckling. I'm listening to Don. But
no. The clip I'm talking about wasn't on there. And it's absolutely there.
Oh, the clip. Fredo and Don Lemon, when they were somewhat relevant in 2020 and they had their own shows on CNN. Where are they now? Oh, that's right. Nowhere near it, because CNN is a sinking ship, by the way.
Oh, here, do we have it? Hold on, let's play the clip.
Injecting drugs for animals and horse.
And people telling them to. Oh my God. What person? You know, you talk about cancel culture and who to shame. Ivermectin, a dewormer, really?
They are shaming themselves.
That's what it is.
They're shaming themselves.
So you're taking a dewormer right now.
This
Chris, you can't apologize for that. You weren't being clear that it was this, and you know that, dude. You're being so dishonest right now, man.
I'm not being
You were
dishonest.
talking about ivermectin, the drug. You were not talking about this version of ivermectin. Come on. Joe Rogan is bigger than every single show at CNN combined and gets paid more than every single person at CNN combined. And he was 100% right about this thing through the entire time.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he
wasn't.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me get this point out here.
Tell me what he was right about.
Okay, how about, you know what you just revealed last month on Pat's show about ivermectin?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan was saying that, and you were smearing him for saying that.
Yeah.
You literally said he's taking horse dewormer.
Yes.
He should be ashamed of himself. You pleaded with your audience to not take it.
Yes.
Then you come back around and you go, hey, Pat, you know what I just found out? Turns out this thing isn't for animals.
And by the way, I just want to quickly remind all of you, in this picture right here, this was a doctored picture that CNN did about Joe Rogan. We, in our own show, talked about how CNN was smearing and slandering and making Joe Rogan look sicker. They were putting up these doctored images of Joe Rogan like that. We were saying how wrong CNN was doing in regards to portraying Joe Rogan as being sick and taking ivermectin, and how they were smearing and slandering him. And never once did we talk about the vaccine or anything else of that nature. We didn't tell people what to do with their bodies. Hell. But you want to know what the great censorship jackboot said to us as it kicked us in the mouth? We almost got our channel hit with a community strike because they were saying we were giving out medical misinformation, when we were just talking about how CNN was smearing Joe Rogan. That's the difference. So you understand why I hate censorship. You understand why I kind of have a little bit of beef with CNN and corporate media. Because these jagoffs were were lying to us.
Turns out humans are. But Chris,
But that's
a
not-
5-minute Google
but that's-
search and you would have known that.
First of all,
how do you not
hold on.
apologize to Joe Rogan?
Listen, so why was there a rush on ivermectin all of a sudden?
Can I tell you my honest opinion
Please.
about that? Okay, it's that the medical establishment and the corporate media so humiliated themselves that they lost trust with the entire American people. And then, yeah, there were some charlatans online who were saying, "Oh, go take this," and they
Dave,
trusted them.
please. Here's what happened.
If
okay?
you think
Here's-
Joe Rogan said, "Take any form
I
of
am not
ivermectin you
blaming-
can get,"
I'm
and you'll
Yes. So, Cuomo still in his own reality, but also I want to pull up something here as well. We're going to time travel back to 2020. Here, hey, here's Fredo himself. Fredo! Take it away, Fredo, baby.
Making people so resistant to reason and reliant on lies that they would rather try poison than a real cure. The FDA just literally had to remind some Americans, you're not a horse. You are not a cow. Why? Because some are taking a drug that's given to livestock as an anti-parasitic to treat or prevent COVID. It doesn't work. At least 2 people have been hospitalized in Mississippi after taking Ivermectin. It is a dewormer. It's not a COVID cure. Please don't take it.
But guess who would take it? Cuomo.
The state's health department put out a warning saying animal drugs are highly concentrated for large animals and can be highly toxic in humans. And they should have said, and I don't know why they didn't, and this drug is not for COVID. I wonder if politics played into even that. The state's Poison Control Center has been receiving an increasing number of calls in relation to this. Why? Because somewhere on the righty fringe, they said this will do it. Forget about the vaccine. Look, people are literally insisting on making themselves sick. It is like a bad movie that we're all trapped in. Yes, this country is divided. Those who tell you otherwise, I don't get it, but.
All right, look, do we have some differences? Yes. But all this hype about the country being divided, what I think is that you got a lot of angry, scared, burnt out people, myself included. I don't hate my neighbor, and I don't hate anyone who thinks differently than me. But our two-party system and people like Cuomo and corporate media have been causing this potential division. I say potential. Okay, I understand that people are taking their sides for this election cycle. I get it. But a two-party system and corporate media thrive and are gambling on everything for us to hate each other. And people like CNN, those institutions, CBS, ABC, Fox News, MSNBC, want us to hate each other because it gives them the views, it gives them relevance, and it gives them something to talk about. And it's giving everyone this self-belief that, oh yeah, I have to hate somebody who's not like me. We're Americans, goddammit, and corporate media and the two-party system succeeded. Almost succeeded. There's this potential. I think there's a lot of angry and scared people out there. People are burnt out. Your neighbor isn't your enemy. Your colleague isn't your enemy. Your coworker isn't your enemy. Your family members and friends are not your enemy. It's the bastards in the suits and ties who control everything in the swamp that's called DC. Understand the difference. And I'll be damned if I'm going to be a puppet in how everyone says, oh, civil war, civil war. I am not going to fight for a politician that won't fight for themselves. These politicians are not people. They don't have strength and courage. They don't have integrity. You really want to go ahead and stick your neck out for one of these bastards? Have you not been paying attention to Unusual Whales? Follow Unusual Whales on Twitter, and you'll find out what your fantastic politician is doing. They're doing insider trading. And as I said before, I'll say it again right now, forever and ever. You, the voter, are not first in line. The donors come first. See, donors in this day and age supersede the voters. You mean nothing to the politician. You mean nothing to corporate media.
But they're wrong. But define the division. It's not left, right? Come on. Who defines themselves as that anymore? Those are just ideological extremes for the political class. GOP or Democrat. Who calls themselves that anymore? Those are just teams in a bad game.
Stop copying me, Cuomo. You're a corporate sellout.
This country is about the vaccinated and those who choose to put them at risk. And here's the good news. The vaccinated are this country. They are over 50% of every place and face. They've all done the right thing. So how?
And again, this video is from 2020, by the way, folks. This is Cuomo causing division. Corporate media, CNN causing the division. Do you understand why I was smiling as Dave Smith was smacking this man in the mouth verbally?
How long must the majority wait for the stubborn? How long must kids not get educated because a stubborn few won't learn the lesson about masks, refusing to protect their kids and your kids, especially when they know that kids under 12 can't even get vaccinated. So they need adults. They are dependent on adults to step up. How long must all lives be stilted at home and work, waiting on people who insist on making themselves and others sick?
Oh, Fredo. Well, don't ever say that in front of Cuomo's face, because Fredo's going to say, oh, that's such a bad word.
Again, we can look at the data. You can put the data up. I mean, this is what I do. But what I'm saying is this. This
is what I do too, with a much better track record, Chris. I'm just being honest. This is the truth.
I don't know that you have a better track record. I really don't know that you have a better track record.
So let me ask you this.
Right.
Do you think lockdowns worked? Did they cause more harm than good? By the way, there was no good that was caused, but do you think they caused more harm than good?
The correct answer is you can look again. I wish these things were that simple. Okay. I can argue yes. I can argue no. The government will say yes.
No, but I'm asking you.
The people who are in charge of Robert Redfield will say yes.
Do you think that lockdowns mitigated the virus and were not offset by the catastrophic harm that lockdowns caused?
That's a different question. And that's hard to know. It costs so much pain.
Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 3 for Kit. The lockdowns were necessary. We had to protect each other. We had to do it, Kit. We had to follow orders. Type 4, no, the lockdowns caused a lot of misery and pain. I'm still dealing with the aftermath. I think we all still are. Those lockdowns didn't do a damn thing at all. We gave up our freedoms because our corporate overlords said so. I wonder how many 4s we'll get in the chat. I wonder.
In this country, that it's hard to say. How do you value what they believe was saved in terms of lives?
Go look at the Johns Hopkins study on lockdowns. They looked at all the lockdown areas versus the areas that didn't lock down. They found no difference in mitigating the virus. It was just the disaster. And I was against the lockdowns from the very beginning. I was against the ridiculous outdoor mask wearing. I was against all of the mandates, all of people being deemed non-essential, all of this stuff.
I get it. But it wasn't just America. You make it sound like,
I'm against it everywhere.
But what I'm saying is, but it matters that it happened everywhere. It matters. And it happened in other places longer. And yeah, look at Sweden. How did it work out for them?
What? Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Sweden, by the way, here's how it worked out for Sweden. Lowest excess mortality rate in all of Europe.
That's right. IKEA for the win. Sorry. I sometimes like making a trip to IKEA. I thought I had a little bit of humor there. Oh, don't give me that look. I like to look at furniture. What do you have against me?
That's how it worked out for Sweden.
They had rates of illness in there.
Yes.
And then they didn't build up the herd immunity they thought they were going to by going that way.
Okay,
and the UK wound up watching them and reversing course.
And why is it that...
But also, hey, wait. Gotta pause here for a second. Hey, how much Sweden's population went to abject poverty or is still struggling with credit card debt or debt in general? Because the American people, we were told by our corporate overlords, by corporate media, like people like Cuomo, stay inside. But I got to go to work. You got to stay inside. But I got to pay these bills. You got to stay inside. So in other words, people had no choice. People were effed. People had no goddamn choice. People were screwed. Stay inside. I got to go to work. Stay inside. I got to pay the bills. Stay inside. Hey, I'm being evicted. Stay inside. I can't. I'm on the streets. Do you have any, again, people like Cuomo don't realize the consequences, repercussions of their actions by, again, following along with the state and not doing what media should do, and that is challenge and question everything. Because corporate media, CNN, MSNBC, ABC, New York Times, Washington Post, Fox News, all these institutions, they're not there to challenge power. They're there to follow orders and read their scripts. That's what they're supposed to do, not inform you. This is why we need independent media.
Sweden has the lowest excess mortality rate in all of Europe because of all of the deaths that were caused by the lockdowns. That's why. They were the ones who didn't do that to themselves. And man, I mean, you look at, Pat brought up the number of small businesses that were ruined during the lockdowns. That's the least of it. And that's huge. I'm not trying to downplay that at all, but you're talking about suicides, families breaking up, children falling behind, just things that people will never, and not just that, but also just, look, here's the thing, right? And this is what I think the media class never really grapples with. If I were to ask you, what was the cost of the war in Iraq? Okay, what was the cost of it? Now, you might try to find what you go, okay, we spent $2 trillion on the war in Iraq. Okay, there were 1 million Iraqis died as a result of that war. Over 10 million were displaced. You could look at the thousands of America's bravest young boys who killed themselves, tens of thousands, if you want to count the ones who blew their brains out in the aftermath of it, okay? But then you know what the cost of it was? Everything that we're living through today in our country. Donald Trump being president, the lack of trust in the corporate media, the culture war, everyone being pitted. Like, these things have costs for your society down the road that are impossible to measure. And the costs of the lockdowns, it's going to be another 15, 20 years before we look back and really recognize it. By the way, one of the costs of the lockdowns was the Summer of Love. The riots that caused billions of dollars in property damage across you remember the fiery but peaceful riots of 2020?
Yeah, I was in them.
There was, they were, that was a cost of it. I mean, those riots didn't just come out of, it wasn't just a coincidence that they came on the heels of 3 months of lockdowns. Anyway, I'm just saying that,
Look, I'm just telling you, the people that I talked to who made these decisions.
Who are you talking to, Fredo? Oh, that's right, his masters. His masters said, if you don't say what we say, we're whipping you. And you're going to like it. You're going to say what we say. You're going to do what we do. And you're going to tell the people what they need to know. Nothing more, nothing less. Am I being mean here? Am I being overly mean to Fredo? Yeah, I am. Because we're still dealing with the fallout of the lockdown.
Stand by them and say,
I believe it.
But here's the thing. And again, if
I'm sure Dick Cheney stands by the war in Iraq too.
The whole party.
Now, I also want to pull up something else here too. Again, more Fredo just getting smacked around.
My criticism would be that your interest is about how it generates attention. And that's fine, but it won't fix. I'm telling you right now, if God forbid something happened again.
What do you know that we don't know, Fredo? Because listen here, folks. Listen. I remember when I was in Japan. Sorry, I don't mean to pause, but look. I remember when I was in Japan in 2020, first vacation, a long time. I remember getting text messages from people saying, hey, there's some sort of weird flu-like virus out there. Be careful out there, And of course, it was still in China at the time. And I remember people slowly getting scared and nervous about this whole thing. But as we lived through 2020, I think we all realized it was all one big clown show. We sacrificed our freedoms. And see, the thing is, by us silently, obediently obeying authority, we proved to the corporate overlords that they can get away with whatever they want to us. And they're going to try something again. They're going to make us follow orders. Follow orders. I mean, how can we trust an institution? How can we? They lied to us about all the wars. They lied to us about these politicians. They lied to us about everything. Can you trust corporate media? The answer is no, you cannot. There's a reason why it's at an all-time low. And yet people like Cuomo are wondering, well, gee, why is Joe Rogan so popular? Why is Jimmy Dore so popular? Why is Tucker Carlson so popular? Why are all these people so popular? Why is independent media gaining more viewers? In fact, hey, listen, folks, again, corporate media had to bully its way onto social media. So if there's ever a reason why you might get unsubscribed from Hard Lens Media or any other independent media network, it's because corporate media is controlling the algorithm with big tech and the two-party system. They want to get away with it again. They want to make you obedient. Smart enough to at least run the machines, but dumb enough never to speak out.
We would be lost about how to do it differently. And you'd have a pocket of people, 25, 35%, who say, I'm not going to do it. And you would lose that case again.
You know, it's really wild, Chris, for you to psychoanalyze me and say my interest here is in generating attention. You're the guy who, when at CNN, said everything to defend the vaccine when you were being sponsored by Big Pharma. And all of a sudden now that you're here on PBD show, you'll say the truth. No, but
yes, you are. Oh, you asshole. Of the highest order. What kind of commercials show up on CNN? Pharma. Hi. This is the special pill. The special pill makes you get to enjoy life. Are you feeling down and sad and depressed? Are you feeling alone and away from your family? Well, take the special pill. The special pill is there to make you feel better. And then you see the people dancing in the streets. The special pill causes many physical problems. Meanwhile, you see people dancing and singing, causes heartaches, decrease in libido, causes you to have manic diarrhea. Can't sleep. You're constantly having headaches, heart attacks, stomach pain, stomach ulcers. You're vomiting blue stuff that you didn't even know was inside your body. I mean, look at all the commercials on CNN. It's Big Pharma. Fredo, don't make me call Mo Green on your ass. Don't make me call Fredo. It's like that scene from Casino, you know, as Joe Pesci's crushing that guy's head in and says, "Who did it? Who did it? Don't make me be a bad guy here. Don't make me call Mo Green. Don't make me be a bad guy here, Fredo. I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to be a bad guy."
You're not sponsored by Big Pharma.
No.
I'm not against the vaccine.
Hold on. You're not even listening to what I'm saying. You're attacking my motive, saying all I care about is generating interest. Meanwhile, when those CNN checks were coming in, you said nothing that would have put them in jeopardy. But now that you're here, you're starting to tell a little bit of the truth.
So hold on. No. It's not. That's not true. I don't have a changed opinion.
It is true. Ever since you've been on be a member of the PBD podcast, you have had a change of tone. Change of tone indeed. And by the way, folks, maybe someone should tell Fredo this, but don't you all remember when his brother, Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, remember that little incident with the elderly in New York State? A lot of old people just passed away because of how Cuomo's administration was handling that situation. Do y'all remember that? Type 5 for, gee, kid, what are you mentioning? I don't even know what you're talking about. Type 6, oh, yes, I do. I remember. I wonder how many sixes we'll get in the chat. I wonder. Sorry for that pause. But I want to pull up one more video. Because unfortunately, we are a collapsing empire. We've said it on the show. I know my colleague Daniel has mentioned it before numerous times, but these lockdowns will forever haunt us. And we will live with the consequence and repercussion of it. Everything that has a beginning must have an end.
We're in a collapsing empire right now, and that's our job is to try to right this ship. But we're in a late stage empire, and that's what America is. And this rarely comes up in corporate media, but the USA is the most powerful empire in the history of the world, and we are the global empire right now. But we're in the very late stages of that with all of the characteristics of a late stage empire. And what are those characteristics? Being way too expanded militarily, being very, very far in debt, and then what ultimately happens after that? The culture devolves into decadence. And that's why things are dumber than they've ever been before. And that's why, you have people, whether it's like a gay pride parade where two guys are like slapping their butt cheeks together and then they're going, we're standing up for our rights. Like, no, you're not. You're not fighting for rights. This is decadence. When you see, if you look back at, say, like William F. Buckley's firing line, when it would be William F. Buckley going at it with Gore Vidal. Okay, well, just the level of intelligence there between that and like Sean Hannity going at it with Don Lemon. No offense. There's been a
Corporate media. Look, and look at Fredo's smile. Look, Patrick, listen. I'm not going to tell you how to run your business or your show, but I think you really missed the mark on having Fredo on your network, man. Okay, because this guy's smiling like a goofy idiot. Like, oh, Chris, we're never going. We no, the American people will never forgive corporate media for what it's done.
Significant fall off. And I think that's what's going on all throughout the country. And what's happening is that the most powerful people are trying to pit us against each other so that we're constantly fighting in a culture war, so that we never all get together and realize that, you know what the left wing and the right wing of the culture war have in common? Both of their dollars been destroyed by the Federal Reserve. Okay? But that never gets covered on CNN. You know what I mean? Like I never see like a big segment about that. Hey, how come all those years having the #1 CNN show, not one segment about the secrecy of the Federal Reserve, the secrecy of the CIA? Instead, all we get from the corporate media is, I don't know, the unvaccinated, the Trump supporter, the Biden supporter, pitting Americans against each other, and all the while blaming the American people for these problems. When that's just not true. Most of the American people are good people. They want to take care of their family, go to work, be a member of their community, try to give their kids a little bit more than they.
You know, and hey, let's face it. If you're not gonna be a family person, at least live your best life as best as you could. Be a good person in your community. Smoke some pot, drink some whiskey, drink a mimosa. You know, chewing some cacao leaves. Whatever you got to do to get you through this world. Because let's face it, here, folks. We know this election's coming to an end. You know, we're in June now. We're in June. Okay, we're in June. Then comes July, August, September, October, November, December. We're halfway through this year already. Wow, it went by pretty fast, didn't it, my lovelies? Live your best life as best as you can, okay?
They had. That's what, and if we had a better media in this country, they would be laser focused on the halls of power and how corrupt they are. Because man, is there a lot of corruption going on at the top here.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Yeah, of course. Cuomo trying to, weigh in. So yeah, it's not fair. First of all, Cuomo, shut up. No one asked for your opinion. Okay, I'm being mean. I'm being way too mean. But nonetheless, here, folks. Look. Listen. What can we take away from this? The lockdowns were unnecessary. Corporate media lied to us. And those that contributed for that painful year are still walking around like everything's A-okay, just like those who caused the economic collapse in 2008, just like those who caused lied to us to go to war in Iraq, got away with it in 2004. Those in power have abused us, lied to us. We are witnessing the most corrupt institutions ever lead us to absolute destruction. And we wonder why ancient empires fall. We wonder why nation states fail. It won't be some foreign barbarian at the gate, some barbarian hordes. It's going to be from within. Our own government doesn't like us, it doesn't think about us, and it doesn't respect us. You think Nancy Pelosi or Turtle Boy Mitch McConnell or anyone else in the Democratic Republican Party care about the people? If they cared about the people, where's our relief package? Oh, wait, billions of dollars are going to go to Ukraine. Where's our relief package to help small businesses? Oh, wait, billions of dollars going to Israel. Where's our relief package so that we can at least get back on our feet? Oh, wait, we got to bail out a bank. We got to bail out a corporation. And of course, our politicians are doing insider trading and everything's still A-okay. Don't you love these politicians? Don't you look at them and say, oh, yeah, they got our best interest at heart? They don't. Because they'll lie to you again and again. So Cuomo getting smacked around by Dave Smith. I love it. It's great. And I, for one, encourage it. Because these bastards have to be called out, as they should.